So let's bring in Niall Gardner. He is a former advisor to Margaret Thatcher. Good morning to you, Niall.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to see you.
Great to see you. What's the reaction there in the UK, and what is your reaction being so, close to the royal family?
Yeah, well, firstly, thanks for having me on the show. And what an earthquake event, actually. Firstly, I think that it's right that Andrew face accountability. And my understanding is the royal family, of course, has fully cooperated here with the police inquiry. Andrew has become increasingly isolated from the royal family, and he's been practically disowned by the king because of his conduct over the Epstein scandal. I think something like this is incredibly unusual. It's unprecedented, I think, in modern times in the UK. So you cannot underestimate in any way the significance of what is happening. In my view, there'll be overwhelming public support in the UK for Prince Andrew to be held to account. His association with Epstein was an absolute disgrace, a scandal. He has negatively impacted, of course, the image of the royal family, and he should fully be held to account and face all charges that may be laid against him. And I think this latest action will have very strong public support, and also the reality is that the British monarchy has really washed its hands of Prince Andrew, who has been, I think, a huge embarrassment to the royal family, to Great Britain, and he should, face whatever charges he faces there. And I think that justice must be served. No one is above the law, and that includes royalty as well.
So now, is that typical? Forgive my ignorance, but I guess some of us are always under impression, at least in the United States, that royals were untouchable. Is it because his titles were removed now that opens the door for him to be charged in this way?
Well, I mean, the reality is that no one is untouchable in terms of the law in the UK, and that includes members of the royal family. I think the fact that Andrew has been increasingly sidelined from the royal family meant that he was increasingly likely, I think, to face some kind of criminal charge. There's no doubt about it, and we're seeing that happening now. In my view, the king moved at a very early stage, actually, to distance himself from Andrew, actually, and Andrew was in many respects, I mean, I'm practically, thrown out of the royal family in many respects over this. Actually, he's been completely sidelined, isolated, and so this. This latest development, I think, makes a lot of sense with him now being, potentially charged by the British police, because no one should actually be above the law. No one should bring the royal family into disrepute, which of course Andrew definitely has done here.
Of course, Jeffrey Epstein, the carnage in the UK politically is continuing. The chief of staff to the prime minister, gone. The ambassador to the U.S., gone, linked to the Epstein files. And now we understand that Andrew, according to the New York Post, was arrested for suspicion of misconduct in public office. He allegedly forwarded trade documents to Jeffrey Epstein. So they didn't talk about that. I could see teenage trafficking of girls. I'm not saying that's okay, but they found out that he traded documents. Maybe something in the million-plus pages that have been released were found by authorities that he was giving away national secrets to a businessman in New York who ends up being Jeffrey Epstein.
These are incredibly serious charges, and if he is prosecuted, found guilty, Prince Andrew could serve many years in prison, actually, and rightly so. These are incredibly serious charges that he's facing, and I do believe that this entire scandal, and if you throw in, of course, Lord Mandelson's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. After all, Mandelson was the U.S. ambassador to Washington, appointed by Keir Starmer, the prime minister. This entire scandal is big enough to bring down the British government. And there are growing calls for Keir Starmer to resign. And over his handling of
because his chief of staff recommended the ambassador for the position. So,
yes.
So the chief of staff said, okay, I'm gone, but to protect the prime minister, but it might not protect the prime minister, is what you're saying?
Yeah, you're seeing, the prime minister's top aides going one by one. They're all, stepping down, resigning. It's only a matter of time before I think Keir Starmer himself is forced to resign over this. And he's clinging on by his fingernails, literally, as prime minister right now. And I expect you're going to see the collapse, actually, of Keir Starmer's government over this entire scandal. It's a huge can of worms. And also, I'd point out, Brian, that Lord Manderson actually headed Keir Starmer's poisonous Chagos surrender deal campaign, which President Trump strongly attacked yesterday. This idea of giving away the Chagos Islands, the home of Diego Garcia, to Mauritius, which is a Chinese puppet regime in the Indian Ocean. I mean, this is, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is
because we had a base there.
After scandal.
We had a base there, and now he reversed that decision.
Huge U.S. military base. Yeah, the whole Chagos deal is absolutely insane, and it's a knife in the back for the United States. And President Trump rightly stepped in yesterday, condemning what Keir Starmer was doing. This Keir Starmer government needs to go. It's as simple as that. It's an absolute disaster. It's a far left-wing socialist government that is bringing Britain into disrepute and destroying the special relationship with the United States. And the sooner Keir Starmer goes, the better, in my view.
Do you think any of this is retribution because of what he's accused of, what Virginia Giuffre was accusing him of? She ended up committing suicide, but accused Prince Andrew at the time he was Prince Andrew. She says they met when she was 17 years old, and she accused him back in 2001 of raping her. And Prince Andrew ended up settling, so that made him, in many people's eyes, look guilty. He said he was innocent. He says he's never met her before. Then there was that picture that was released of the two of them when she was a young girl. Years later, she commits suicide, and it appears that that has now been dropped, and now he's being arrested, allegedly today, for sharing secret information with Jeffrey Epstein. But it's all connected by one person, and that's Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And as you point out, I mean, Prince Andrew has faced so many serious charges, actually, in relation to the Epstein scandal. And this scandal is so big that I think it's going to bring down the British government entirely. And unfortunately, I have to say this, that I think the King took early action against his own brother to really exclude him, of course, from any official role in the royal family. And so early action was taken, full credit to the King, actually having zero tolerance for the horrible, appalling behavior of Andrew, who has been an absolute disgrace, actually. It's monstrous, these charges that are against him. And he is also hugely unpopular, of course, Andrew, with the British public. The British public will be fully supporting any kind of criminal action that's taken against him.
Now, thanks so much for joining the program on this breaking news.